Hey everybody, welcome to this guide video on Cyberpunk 2077 on how to adjust your graphic settings, maybe some suggestions to make the game look nicer, and maybe possibly even give you some more frames for those people who are suffering from issues with the game. So first of all, I'm in right now Ultra, just regular Ultra, 1080p. I'm recording on a 2080 and a 9900K. Now at the top right, I'm using the Steam overlay, which kind of blinks in and out. That's not a bug with the game or anything. That's just a bug with my recording. And I'm getting about 67, 68 FPS. It's going up 65, depending on the density, the traffic, things like that. Now, I would also like to tell you that I'm using OBS to record. I'm using NVAC, and it's actually using about 30% of my GPU, which is quite a bit because I'm doing 4K upscaling for YouTube because motion blurring at 1080p looks really bad, and so I've started to do 4K videos, but you might not see the 4K video for literally a day or two because that's how long it takes, darn YouTube, to encode it. Anyways, what we're going to do is change some settings. So what we're going to do is hit our escape button here, and we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go to video here, or sorry, graphics here. Well, you can go video here, first of all. If you're having some weird FPS issues, like it's just setting at 30 or something, whatnot, make sure you have your max FPS off, turn off your VSync. That being said, usually VSync is a good thing. I mean, if you have an overpowering computer and, you have like 200 frames going, and I don't think anyone has that yet anyways, but maybe like 10 years down the road you're watching this video, you might want to use VSync because there's really no need to be burning out your video card, which it shouldn't burn anyways at 100%. But the point is, if you don't need the 100, the 200 or 300 frames, you can go ahead and limit there. So we're going to go to graphics here. And the first thing I changed for myself, because I do have some visioning issues, I get headaches and migraines quite easily, unfortunately, in a lot of games, is I changed the field of view. And I didn't really pay attention to field of view much in video games for the longest time. And over time, I've learned that this was my migraine creator. My number one migraine creator was field of view, basically. So you have to find a sweet spot that's great for you. If you have games that work really well and then other games that don't work well, go and figure out the field of view of that game is and see if it can be adapted and changed for that game. Now keep in mind that all games are exactly the same when it comes to field of view. One game that might be 90, maybe 95 is more comfortable, or 80, or, things like that can happen, or 100. I've just noticed that they're never just perfect, even though I think they're supposed to be the same. It's just, I guess it's the way the style of the game is. The first 4 items I like to disable to make the game more sharper, cleaner, and just nicer looking, and also it helps reduce headaches and migraines for me personally, is the film grain. I like to turn that off. Chromatic aberration. Did I say it right? Aberration. Off. Lens flare. Or sorry, not lens flare. Depth of field. Off. And then motion blur. Off. These 4 things are literally the ones that kill my head, and they make the game look ugly. It's like an artistic style. Great for a screenshot, maybe. Not for my normal gameplay. So right off the bat, the game's going to look a little sharper, a little cleaner, and I like that. I personally like that more, I don't need that artistic, overlay basically on my game. No Man's Skies did it too, and I remember I used to modding my game just to get rid of it. Now they have settings for it, but it's just like, I don't need that, thank you. Okay, so now the game looks a little sharper. We're still about the same FPS. Now, some people have sworn that the chromatic setting here, turning it off, will give them more frames. For me, I don't find it helps at all. But if it does, that's awesome. I want to let you know that some people have, said it has helped them with the frames. Now, if we're wanting to look at more things that can help with frames, the cascading shadow right here, resolution. Now, I've not been able to really be affected with that, probably because I have a newer video card and it doesn't really have an impact as much with that. But some people who have adjusted this setting swear that it's given them double-digit extra FPS. For me, if it ever happened, maybe 1 or 2 FPS. I don't even think it does that. Basically, the sun itself and the effects, that cast on the world and all the cars and people moving around, that basically, if that's low, basically it can help increase your FPS. So I'm going to keep that up there. Another couple that some people find to help them that are pretty taxing is the volumetric fog and the volumetric cloud resolution and quality. There's no cloud resolution. They just say quality, oddly enough, on that one. But once again, people say lowering those like medium or whatever can help them, or even low settings. For me, it actually seems to help a bit. Look at that. When they're on low, I am at like 82 FPS. So they definitely have an impact even for my settings. So there you go. Those do obviously help. I think we're good, though, with what I have, but they're great there. Now, the awesome setting you can change, don't touch ray tracing. Your ray tracing is on you. You're going to be losing FPS. I'm not going to even go with that. Yes, if I had a 3K card, maybe it would work great. I would consider that. But I don't have money for that, so unless there's a rich person who's randomly watching this video and is like, man, you need a 3K card. Here you go. Here's a 3080. I'm sending it to you. Ain't gonna happen, and no one out there is gonna be like giving a random YouTuber a freaking expensive video card either. So, but anyways, it's beautiful. I played around with it. You can do some nice stuff with it. I just can't afford it power-wise on my 2080. Anyways, there's a setting called DLSS, and I believe it's only for the new NVIDIA 2K series. That being said, for people who are on lower ones, what you can do is play with these two settings here. I'm not really good at these settings, mostly for the fact that I have DLSS and it works really well. For other people, you might find these two to be better. If you don't have DLSS, you might be able to have this kind of help you. And basically the idea is that kind of like dynamically, one's dynamic, one's static, but basically they can change your graphics and, change the, certain resolutions and things like that, when your FPS is kind of tanking, and try to give you that extra boost and kind of like dynamically scale it so you're kind of sitting more at a more stable FPS if possible. They do this actually quite a bit in console games. So if you've ever heard of people saying like the resolution, they're like an internal resolution is changing while they're playing the game, that's actually what's happening. And so usually you hear that in consoles a lot. But for us newer card holders, DLSS is an amazing system. So if I put it to auto right off the bat, boom, look at that. I'm at 98 FPS. I'm literally sitting at basically, we could say 100 FPS at this point. And it's ridiculous. And I don't lose a lot of quality. It is changing stuff. I mean, if you were to take the perfect screenshot from one view to the other, definitely things have gotten a little different, worse in some cases. But overall, it improves your quality quite a bit and gives you a decent world. Now, like I said, things aren't perfect. So, you're going to have some weird blurs here and there. And one person's computer specs to another person's computer specs will actually change this quite a bit. So, for example, you see the sign up there? That looks pretty good to me. I can see it kind of bothering me a bit. I can see some edging and stuff like that, which probably, if I put it right to the top, it's hard for anyone to really notice that, especially on YouTube. But I'm starting to see kind of that edging. Like the old games where you look at the table and you see all the kind of the lines all kind of derpy up. I'm seeing that a bit, and that's on auto. Now, if I go all the way to the bottom now and say, let's put this on ultra performance, that sign is, well, you should be able to see that yourself. It's just completely pixelated. And that's where that system's kicking in. And basically, I'm not even gaining any FPS out of it, but it's just basically distorted the crap out of that. So that's why I would say go to auto, or you can go to quality as well, but quality I think is already auto. So I think those settings pretty much go through kind of go through these as time goes on anyway. So basically auto would probably give you the highest, and then when it's trying to fix that FPS for you, then it'll lower the quality. So technically, let's just say there's like a big war going around everywhere in front of me except that sign up there in the air. More than likely, that sign would actually get blurry as that fight is going on because of all the crap that's going on. Which, to me, that's not a big deal. You know what? That sign could be blurry all it wants if there's a big war going in front of me. And that is why the system is bloody amazing. And so, yeah, that's a big one. But yeah, hopefully that helps people, play around there. Don't be afraid. You can always reset, your video settings anytime you want. Under your video settings, once again, make sure you have your maximum FPS off and your VSync off. These are great for, in the future, or some people might want it, but at least when it comes to this, you don't want it. Windows border mode, technically going to full screen might give you slight performance. This day and age, it's very rare, but if it does, it does. That's awesome. Overlays like the Steam overlay that I have, which is probably blinking in and out over time to show you that frames, that actually can cause you to have issues. And I'm not saying it's causing issues in this, but it's known to cause issues with games and overlays and things like that. This day and age, overlays are very little. It really doesn't hit you as much as they used to. So, but anyways, yeah, there's so many settings, lots of fun stuff to play around with. You can test this all, honestly, put everything to the lowest setting possible even. And then check out your frames. And then put everything to the highest setting and check your frames. And if you don't know how to have your FPS show up here, you literally go into Steam itself. And I'll just tell you, I won't show you because I don't have it set up here. So basically, if you go to Steam, you go to your settings. So the Steam button, your settings. And then you go to, I believe you go down to, it's been so long, in-game. Yeah, so the third one down. There is a in-game FPS counter, and you can set that to whatever. So I have it top right. I can set it to top left. I don't think it'll change till you reload the game, yeah. So you can't do it live in the game, unfortunately. A little weird, honestly, on Steam's part for that. But basically, if I launch the game, it'll move it from the top right to the top left, whatever. And obviously, everyone has it off by default. Now, if you don't have the game on Steam, you can also add it. So, like, say I have GOG copy, right? So if you go to Add Game on the bottom of your Steam, you can do the Add Non-Steam Game, add it there, and then just basically look for the Cyberpunk 2077 launch. It's literally called Cyberpunk 2077. It even has the Cyberpunk icon, and when I launch it even shows like my players, hey, I have Cyberpunk. Oddly enough, it shows like almost like I own it on Steam. Unfortunately, I don't, but it's kind of weird how it works that way. So I guess maybe they have this game somehow registered somehow. I'm not sure. It feels that way anyways. But yeah, and that way you can get your FPS on the corner, and you can enjoy kind of keeping tabs and seeing what your frames are going on when you're playing. But either way, I'm gonna love this game. I'm gonna do a full Let's Play series. So I hope you peeps decide to subscribe and follow, and also to try to do some more videos and guides, and maybe even look into some modding and stuff like that in the future. But either way, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments and suggestions, like to help other people out there, please leave a comment. And remember, it's never going to be the same for two people. Somebody can have the identical specs as my computer, and they're going to have some other issues. Maybe there's a driver issue. Maybe there's another hardware issue. I use an M.2 drive. I get like a 3000 read and like a 2500 write, where somebody might be just using a regular SSD or a regular hard drive, which, by the way, they have under gameplay here. I should show you that. Was it gameplay? Yeah, I think so. There was, no, I don't think it was gameplay. Was it controls? No, yeah. I honestly don't know where I saw it, but there was an option basically for slow hard drives. I'm not kidding you. There's an actual slow hard drive option somewhere in the game, and I don't even remember where I saw it, so I don't know how that works for people with that, but I thought, oh yeah, slow hard drive. So under gameplay, slow hard drive. Enable this mode if your hard drive is slow. So my hard drive is slow. I don't know what it actually does with that. I don't know if it spawns more temporary cache or something like that, or what exactly does, but I don't think I would need to worry about that. It's probably for older systems anyways. They probably made sure that was in for like next gen, old gen consoles, for example. This game loads in like 2 or 3 seconds into the world. I'm not kidding you. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you wonderful people next time. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and yeah, we'll see wonderful people next time.